Greetings and blessed day to you once again, people of God. It's the Revelator once again. And hoping the grace and the mercy of our Lord Jesus Christ is with you until the end of time. We meet once again in yet another mind-blowing presentation. We are coming from 3 different presentations. And the 3 different presentations that have already been presented unto you, they mark and confirm the series, the deep undercover in the spirit, the classified, the special forces unit. And I remember explaining about the school of Enoch, and I was explaining a mysterious character, a rare character. And once again, I remember explaining the ultimate character, which is the deep undercover in the spirit, which is none other than the character of Jesus. And I remember explaining again the classified, who was none other than Elijah, explaining how also Elijah's identity remained classified, appearing in different dimensions and even manifesting through another disciple who was regarded as more than a prophet because of hosting the spirit of one that was a classified agent from the realms. Today, once again, as I promised earlier, that I'm going to be presenting yet another character. I'm here to present the Special Forces unit. And the character that I'm going to be presenting here is no longer the character and the class which is in the knowledge class of information like Enoch. It's no longer the character that is in the deep undercover spirit dimension as Christ. It's no longer in the field of the classified agents like Elijah. But this one was sent under the militia spiritual wing. Not just the ordinary militia spiritual wing, but the secret forces intelligence wing. I want to present Moses in the Special Forces unit presentation inside the deep undercover in the spirit presentation series. Moses is raised in Egypt. But before we can even talk about how Moses is raised in Egypt, I want you to know that Moses, as a baby, is left inside a basket. And after Moses is left inside a basket, Moses gets the privilege of being raised in a palace of the Egyptian system as a prince under the Egyptian system. But whilst all this was happening, there was information through the prophetic that was already known that Moses was the deliverer of the children of Israel that had been in bondage for hundreds of years. But the one that has been sent to deliver the Israelites from the enslavement and the bondage that they had suffered under the Egyptian system does not come automatically to deliver them. He is raised in the Egyptian palace. He is raised as a prince in the system of Egypt. Just for you to know how God operates in a very deep undercover dimension. God operates in mysterious ways that are hidden. And the mysterious ways that are hidden is that Moses, you are the deliverer. What are you doing inside the palace of the enemy? Moses, you are not an Egyptian, but you're supposed to deliver the Israelites. But rather, God makes sure that what is going to defeat the system of Pharaoh, the Pharaoh system, it is the very same system that is going to raise what is going to outclass them. Have you not seen those in the secret intelligence? Have you not seen those under the FBI that are sent to track down an enemy, and they go and mix and mingle with the drug addicts? They become part of them, and when they become part of them, you are given an assumption that this one is part of them, but later on they uncover their deep undercover identity, and the enemy and the criminal is tracked down and arrested. In such a manner, Moses is sent and raised in the palace. And it's obvious that Moses was raised alongside one that was becoming a Pharaoh. Moses is raised with one of the sons of Pharaoh. And one of the sons of Pharaoh that Moses is raised with in the palace is the one that was going to be Moses' opponent. But these two, their identities remain unspoken. Why? Because they are raised as brothers in the same palace up until the time that Moses' calling was revealed. But before it was revealed, Moses is given the compassion. Moses is given not only the compassion, Moses is given a sympathetic heart to feel pity for the Israelites. And Moses moves out of the palace. He goes and joins himself with the Israelites who were slaves. And after Moses goes and joins himself with the Israelites who were slaves, Moses, already in the palace, has gone against the systems of Pharaoh or the Pharaoh system. One thing leads to another, and Moses journeys far away. Why? Because he did not want to become part of the system that oppresses those that were part of his loins, those that were part of his tribe, those that were part of his blood. In the process of all these events, Moses does not know that he is now walking in the steps that were already predetermined. And the steps that were already predetermined were the steps that were already ordained and predicted by the prophetic word that Moses was going to deliver the Israelites out of the bondage of the Egyptian system, which was the Pharaoh system. And then Moses suddenly appears before a burning bush. Moses, you are now appearing before a burning bush. This is going to amaze you. This is going to frighten you. But I want you to know that this was something that God had prepared beforehand, that you were going to have an encounter with God. But the encounter that Moses has with God is an encounter with a burning bush. But inside the burning bush, there was an angel of the Lord that was conversing with Moses. And automatically Moses is conversing with God through an angel of the Lord. Moses is not told who really he is by the burning bush, but the burning bush begins by approaching Moses as if the burning bush does not know who Moses is. And God himself not wanting to reveal to Moses who really he was, to the level that God says, I am what I am. In the middle of the conversation between the burning bush and Moses. And it took a while. It took a while for the burning bush that was burning and not consuming the bush to convince Moses to go and now execute his assignment, his real assignment that he had been born for. The real assignment that Moses had been born for was not becoming a prince in the Egyptian palace, in the Egyptian system. The real assignment that Moses had been born for in the first place before he had been recovered in the basket that was eaten. The real assignment was that Moses, you are supposed to lead the Special Forces unit. Moses, you are supposed to represent a unit of a command that operates in a warfare dimension. And this unit of command that operates in the warfare dimension was going to approach the government and the system of Pharaoh, not just with words, but through a system of command that would war against the system of Pharaoh. Don't play with a system that was captivating thousands and thousands of Israelites, and they could not escape. They remained in bondage. They remained under oppression as slaves. And one man is being sent to deliver them. So Moses wants to understand, how am I going to be able to deliver these people? All I have is a rod. Moses indeed completely does not have anything at that very point of time except for his rod that he was told to throw down, and it changed into a serpent. And the Lord saying, go and present this miracle before Pharaoh and tell him to let my people go. Do you know why God is sending Moses in such a way? God does not want to reveal his actual wrath that he wants to unleash upon Pharaoh. So he leads Moses, assigning him at different stages as a special forces unit commander who is deep undercover in the spirit. Yet God wanted to destroy Pharaoh and his whole system once and for all. He would not have sent Moses at different levels of just performing a miracle, which he knew that the magicians of Pharaoh would perform the very same miracle. I hope someone is understanding what I'm saying here. So, the identity of Moses is hidden. Not only is the identity of Moses hidden here, Moses goes to Pharaoh more than several times, performing different miracles. Part of those miracles was that Moses throws down his staff and it became a serpent. And the Pharaoh's magicians, Pharaoh's astrologers, they also were able to perform that sign. Moses goes back in quite a number of signs. And in all those countless signs, Pharaoh's heart was hardened. He changes the sea and it became blood. He commands, and after commanding in the realms, frogs, they were seen in Egypt, everywhere. Such a command is not a command that was being given by one that was ordinary, but such a command is a command that was being given by one that represents the secret special forces. He represented the unit that represented the armies of heaven. And the unit that represented the armies of heaven, that was being represented by Moses, was an invisible army. This is why it took Pharaoh a long time to accept that Moses had surely been sent by God. Why? Because Moses would just appear before Pharaoh holding his staff. But been sent by God. Why? Because Moses would just appear before Pharaoh holding his staff. But Pharaoh, had you known that this man is representing a special forces unit command, you would have let these people go. But you did not. You continued pursuing Moses even after he had commanded an angel of death that came and slew every firstborn. Don't play with a man that has got authority to unleash one angel that comes and kills every firstborn creation, every firstborn child in Egypt, and is able to control the warfare at the level of making sure that all the firstborn children of the Israelites, they remain alive by merely stamping blood on their doorsteps. And after that, he's able to collect the gold, the jewelry from the Egyptians as if he's borrowing, and he walks out of Egypt. But Pharaoh, you are not learning that you are battling not against a man, you are battling against the special forces unit command of God. Pharaoh continues pursuing Moses, and as Pharaoh continues pursuing Moses, Pharaoh, the trench that you want to enter, the trench that has been opened in this Red Sea, do not attempt to enter. Why? Because you're not the one that opened it. Pharaoh follows Moses and the Israelites after Moses parted the waters hither and thither, and the Israelites, they crossed and appeared on the other end. And whilst the Egyptians, their horses and chariots, they were in the milk, what does Moses do? Moses commands again the sea to close in, and all the armies of the Egyptian Pharaoh system, they perish. This is not a warfare being done single-handedly by one man. There is a military in the system. But this military system that Moses is using, it is invisible. It cannot be seen. It is the secret, classified, the deep undercover, the special forces unit command of God that is coming from the invisible realms. Child of God, once again, I'm here to present the deep undercover in the spirit, the classified, presenting the special forces unit command in the name of Jesus.